So it's been a little bit since we had a new box here in the office with the new Chromebook events that go on twice a year. A lot of releases kind of get centralized around those two time periods. But this new device, the Acer Chromebook Spin 312, just kind of showed up on the scene a few weeks ago. We reached out. Acer has sent us one for review. So let's hop in the box and see what it looks like. But before we hop in the box, I want to issue a quick invitation to our Chrome Unboxed Plus community. And in that community, you're going to find hundreds of other people who are just enthusiastic about Chromebooks, about Google products, about tech in general. Great discussion that happens in that community. But on top of that, you're going to get access to Joe and myself on a regular basis, access to AMAs with the Chrome OS team. We do giveaways in there. We've got ad-free access to the website, ad-free access to all of our podcasts. It's a great place for $2 a month. It's a killer deal. And so if that sounds interesting to you at all, go to chromeunbox.com/join and you can learn more and get started. All right, so let's hop in the box here. Before we do, I can just talk as I'm doing this. Like I said in the open, this was a surprise device, honestly. We know that there are tons of NISA devices, which NISA is the code name for most of the things that have Core i3, N305, or the N100, N200 chip in them. And there's just a bunch of them. There's education models. There's models overseas. So it's kind of hard to sort out which one's which. This is obviously one of them. So this is rocking the N305 processor that was in, most famously for me, like the device I think of when I think of that processor is the Lenovo Chromebook Plus Slim 3i. I love that Chromebook. I like the fact that a mobile type processor that's going to get 12, 13 hours of battery life, which is what they claim for this one as well, just has plenty of performance overhead. I liked that device when it came out. I still like that device. I grab it every once in a while to use it. This one has very similar internals. Nothing special with the charging brick here. Pretty standard fare. But yeah, here it is. So we're talking 12.2 inch, 16 by 10 full HD screen. And so it's not a huge Chromebook. It's a little thick. It's not going to be the smallest thing in the world, but because the screen's smaller, obviously the overall Chromebook footprint is a little smaller. So just, I don't know, it feels a little more portable than something like in the 14 to 15 inch range. But as we kind of look around the device, I mean, this is pretty standard Acer fare here. If you've seen an Acer Chromebook, you know kind of what to expect. But the color's pretty nice. It doesn't seem to be picking up a ton of fingerprints, but pretty sure this is all plastic. But at least on the outside here, pretty firm and rigid. We'll get on the inside here in a second. We got fan ports around the bottom. Downward firing, but also side firing speakers. At first I thought that was an SD card slot, but that's actually a speaker grill on both sides. So even if you have the speakers muffled here, some sound should get out. We'll give those a quick test here in just a second. And then we'll talk ports real fast. USB Type-C, USB Type-A. Both of these, I don't know, it didn't say on the box what version, so probably 3.2, something like that. Microphone, headphone jack there. A full-size HDMI slot, which is very nice on a smaller Chromebook. I'm pretty sure I saw that this is HDMI 1.4, so if you're trying to like push a 120 hertz monitor, you'll have issues there. Another USB Type-A Kensington lock, and that's it as far as the ports go. So as we open this bad boy up, I didn't try it. I just made the assumption. Yeah, okay. No one finger lift. We did get a little bit of a raise though. If you can kind of catch that. A la Asus a little bit likes to do that. When they raise that up, it's basically just giving it a little bit easier path for the fans to get air. It's a love-hate thing for me. It always gets billed as like ergonomic lift, like it's better for you to type on or something, but that doesn't really make any difference, but it does help ventilate those fans a little bit. So let's talk about this screen here before I get logged in. I'm going to crank it up. One of the things I noticed with this Chromebook is they did not specify how bright the screen was, which usually means it's not good. But yeah, this, I would guess it's still 250, but it's one of those good 250s. Is that blowing the camera out there? Okay. So yeah, it's a good 250 nit screen, and it's got plenty of brightness. You will see a little bit of dimness as you get off angle. It's IPS, so it's, the off angle viewing doesn't go anywhere. But as you can see, let me angle it right here at the camera. As you can see, kind of when I turn it off to the side, I'm hoping it picks up on camera that, it's bright, and then it's kind of not quite as bright, but it's not like it's changing colors or anything like that. So overall, I mean, I think they could have put 250 nits, and like there are other companies. I know I harp on 250 nit screens all the time, but for a device that's this affordable, I haven't said that yet. It's $449 normally, and until I use this thing a little bit, I don't know. $449 feels a little steep for what we're talking about here, but it's been on sale for like 80% of the time it's been on the market for, I don't know, 5-6 weeks or something like that at this point. Maybe not even that long. And it's almost always on sale for $299. That changes the conversation quite a bit. At $300, I can give or take quite a few things in a Chromebook, and this is by far one of the better screens I've seen on a $300 Chromebook for sure. So it's obviously touchscreen. Let's see, I'll just touch around a couple of these things. Obviously touch, and it's 1080p, and so it's actually 1080p with 1200 pixels top to bottom. So what is that? WUXGA. If anybody can keep up with those little acronyms, more power to you. Let's give me the little feel on the keyboard. Quick test, that feels really good. I will note that when we first talked about this, Best Buy listed this as backlit keyboard. They have since changed that, and it is not, in fact, backlit. I was going to be kind of shocked if it was, but I'll check just to make sure. Yeah, not backlit. We have an ocean glass trackpad, which I just love these in Acer's more affordable Chromebooks. I mean, for a little Chromebook, that's a good size trackpad. Super duper smooth. Feels like etched glass. It's not bouncing. Click mechanism feels really good. Again, that's really encouraging for a device in this price range. And I mean, you can see I can hold it from the corner. It's not bending and twisting all over the place. And so I'm like, again, it's all plastic, but it's relatively firm for being all plastic. So I'm going to take a break real quick, get logged in so we can test a few things. That'll give me time to check out the keyboard and the trackpad for real. We'll take a look at the camera, listen to the speakers, all that stuff. All right, so all logged in and everything, and I can tell you one thing. I'm impressed by the keyboard. Cheaper Chromebooks tend to have kind of flimsy keycaps and all that kind of stuff. The sound of this is really nice. It's very quiet. There's a nice click. I could do with a little bit more feedback, but there's a decent amount of travel, nice amount of click on the keyboard. I do wish it was backlit. That would be cool. But yeah, I think I could do a lot of writing on this comfortably. And the trackpad for sure is great. The click mechanism's a little firm towards the middle, which I find to be true with smaller trackpads a lot of times. But down this area here, the click is sure, feels really good. So, and again, like all the gestures and stuff feel really smooth on this trackpad. So keyboard trackpad, pretty good. Screen looks really nice. I'll be honest with you. Again, until I review it and have it in some other settings, it's kind of hard to tell, but I don't think I'll be cranking it down too much past like 80% or something very often because it's not crazy bright. But, ultimately it does the trick here. And so touchscreen's nice, nice and responsive. Opening up the webcam here. So it's a 1080p webcam with a privacy shutter. Yeah, not too shabby. Let's see what it does. I'll point it at Joe. It's real dark back over there. So the fact that it's even bringing him up at all is pretty impressive. We've got the shutter, physical shutter there. So you can know for sure that you are not being watched after a phone call, or if you need to walk away or something, that you have a physical shutter button there. You obviously don't get some of those camera controls you would get with Chromebook Plus, which is an oddity with this Chromebook because it actually meets all the specs. It has the right processor. It has 8 gigs of RAM. It has 128 gigs of storage. So I'm not completely sure why it's not being marketed as a Chromebook Plus, but you can tell on the lid, it is definitely not Chromebook Plus. Not really sure why that is. And I didn't see any of the Chromebook Plus stuff when I logged into it either. But let me look and see here, just making sure. Yeah, it's not getting any of the quick settings or anything like that for Chromebook Plus either. So I might actually reach out to Acer on this and try to find out what the reasoning is and why it doesn't have the Chromebook Plus upgrade. I don't know any part of this that isn't Chromebook Plus worthy. It's got a 1080p webcam. It meets all the specs. 1080p screen, all that stuff. So not really sure what's going on there, but performance-wise, it's going to be on par with any other Chromebook Plus. Like, it's going to get along just fine. You're going to be able to do lots of stuff with it. You're not really going to have to worry about, performance. Battery life is likely going to be really good, especially if it's anywhere close to what they've said. They said 13 hours. So, I mean, even if it gets 11 hours with a Chromebook this size, that's impressive. So, yeah, I'm not sure on the Chromebook Plus side of things why it is. This one's not being marketed that way, but hopefully we can find that out for you soon. So last thing, let's take a look at the speakers here. So I'm going to go to one of our videos. Here, Samsung.
That's I can't explain it. I hope this thing is in Best Buys.
They're tinny.
For you all to go just check out.
They're pretty loud.
There's just no reason that something this wafer thin at the end should feel this rigid.
And there's quite a bit of volume actually coming out the sides, which is nice. So what happens then in that situation, a lot of times with downward firing speakers, it sounds one way. You lift it up, it sounds another way.
Love the way it feels. Picking it up is so light. Closing it, there's a little magnetic.
It doesn't really change anything. So it tells me if it's in your lap or something like that. Those stereo speakers are going to still sound very stereo. They're not super bass heavy or anything like that. That's not a surprise. But, since this is a convertible Chromebook, when you're holding it in tablet mode, having those side firing speakers, that's where this really helps, because now the speakers aren't being muffled by the lid. I'm still waiting on a device in this kind of form factor, this like 12.2 inch form factor, that decides to get rid of all the curves and all that kind of stuff and just flatten everything out so that when I close it up, it's square. Even if it's thicker, like that's not thin. When we talk about Chromebook thickness, that's not thin. But if those were squared off and this thing met and sandwiched closed, again, imagine it closed like that whenever it was in tablet mode, it just would feel a little bit better. And I get, these curves and these slopes help the device on the table look thinner. I understand. I get it. But when we talk about small, handheld, convertible devices, it would just be really nice if the tablet mode was a little bit more thought through. But that's true of the software side as well when it comes to Chrome OS. But guys, for now, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. Head down there, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to ring the notification icon as well if you'd like to be alerted when we make future videos just like this one. Until next time, we'll see you.